Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder, the place where we decode the language of business. Today we're diving into a recent filing from Complete Solaria. It's not exactly a page turner, but there's a little surprise inside about how they're dealing with their stock. Let's just say some stockholders might not feel so complete about it. Hopefully they're not sunburned by the end of this report. Bit before we start, if you appreciate getting straight insights from corporate documents, make sure you're subscribed. We also have a Discord community linked in the description below for you to discuss it further. They were scroll item 5 through 7, submission of matters to a vote of a security holders, Tang scroll XO. So this Form 8K is basically a snapshot of what happened at Complete Solaria's annual meeting held back in May. It covers the important stuff like who got elected to the board of directors and some other key decisions that were put to a vote. This report matters because it tells us what the people who own the company, the stockholders, decided on these important issues. First up, the election of directors. Stockholders voted on who would sit on the company's board. The board is like the leadership team, and they're in charge of making big decisions about how the company is run. All the nominees, including Thurman Rogers, Antonio Alvarez, William Anderson, and others, were elected to serve until the next annual meeting. That means the stockholders were mostly happy with the people steering the ship. Looking at the votes for Thurman Rogers, we see about 37.4 million votes in favour and a small amount withheld. But here's where it gets interesting: over 11.6 million broker non-votes were cast. Broker non-votes happen when a broker holding shares for a client doesn't vote on certain issues because they haven't received instructions from the client. It means a significant chunk of shares didn't actively participate in the director election. Score appraisal 2, ratification of the selection. So, independent registered public accounting firm scroll FEN next. The stockholders voted on whether to approve the choice of BDO USA as the company's accounting firm for the current year. It's like a quality check, making sure the company has an independent auditor keeping an eye on the books. The vote overwhelmingly approved BDO USA. Around 48.9 million votes were in favour, with about 135,000 against and only 45,000 abstaining. This shows that the stockholders have confidence in the company's choice of auditor. Scroll proposal 3, approval of an amendment CO to the company's 2023 equity incentive plan scroll. This is where things get a little more interesting and potentially concerning for existing stockholders. The company asked for approval to increase the number of shares available under its equity incentive plan. Basically, this plan is used to give stock to employees, executives, and directors as a way to motivate the incentive plan. Basically, this plan is used to give stock to employees, executives, and directors as a way to motivate them. They wanted to add more than 21 million additional shares for issuance under the plan. The stockholders approved the amendment, but it wasn't as unanimous as the other votes. Almost 36 million votes were cast in favour, while about 1.45 million voted against, and 25,303 abstained. Notably, over 11.6 million broker non-votes were also counted. What's important here is that by increasing the number of shares available, the company is essentially diluting or watering down the value of existing shares. Imagine a pizza cut into 8 slices and shared among 8 people, but suddenly there are 12 slices. Not everyone is necessarily getting more pizza. It doesn't necessarily have to affect the company's stock price, but it's worth keeping an eye on. So let's put all this together. Complete Solaria had its annual meeting. They elected their directors, approved their accounting firm, and increased their stock options. Nothing seems out of the ordinary except the vote in favour of additional stocks could affect current stockholders. Complete Solaria seems to have the basics covered in terms of corporate governance. The overwhelming support for the auditor shows trust in their financial reporting. However, that increase in shares for the equity incentive plan is a double-edged sword. It motivates employees, but it also dilutes the ownership for current investors. Whether that dilution will materially affect the stock price depends on various factors, including investor sentiment, the company's performance, and overall market conditions. It's a move that could either propel growth or raise questions about long-term value for current stockholders. Alright, that's a breakdown of Complete Solaria's latest filing. What's your take on these numbers and what they signal for the company's future? Drop your thoughts in the comments. If this analysis was valuable, hitting that like button really helps, and subscribe for more deep dives. Don't forget to check out the Discord in the description. Thanks for watching. See you next time.